With the onset of the pandemic last year, grinding all live performances to a halt, it's still hard to find the words to describe. I never would have thought that the first time our members are getting together in person to make music today would be a year and 3 months after our last live event in February of 2020.
I'm really excited to play with live musicians. I can't remember the last time, well, actually 2019 was the last time I played with live musicians. This is the first time I'm going to meet any of these musicians in person, so I am a little nervous. It's been a while. I feel like I'm kind of rusty, but it's also a challenge that I'm super excited for.
This is Sahib-Amar, our violist. This is Carina.
Hi, how are you? So good to meet you.
We're a collective of musicians, composers, audience, arrangers, and we usually meet once a month, and our mission is to create orchestral adventures. And today I'll be conducting and helping produce this recording we're doing with ONIKHO.
The Awesöme Orchestra and I are going to be playing through 3 of my original songs. It's the first time we're meeting, so we've had no rehearsal time, but we've been working with 3 composers who have all transposed my music from an electronic form to an orchestral form. So all these musicians have learned these pieces on their own, and now we'll be all coming together to perform them. A mutual friend of mine introduced me to Dave. As Dave and I exchanged a couple emails, he asked what I was working on.
We started trying out some online digital adventures where we were trying some music video type projects that people could do at home, alone but together.
And we listened to Carina's music and we started up conversations and reviewed a bunch of her tracks and kind of picked one that we thought might be kind of cool. Actually, she had a new piece she was kind of workshopping, and it was about what we were all going through at the time. And so we said, yes, absolutely that.
We just had such a great time collaborating with her. Her music's interesting, her work in collaboration with the arrangers, and just her vision is just exciting. And so she's been very important to us in our journey back towards live music together.
We'll be performing 3 songs today. The first one is called Brave One. It's the first song that I wrote as ONIKHO.
Artie, do you want the winds and brass to fade out right on the pizzicato, or for them to have that extra beat?
I kind of wanted the extra beat.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Let's try those last 4 bars.
I went through like 5 revisions of that song on its final stage now that's going to be performed. You want to honor whatever, the pop singer or the singer, the person who created this music, you want to honor their music, first and foremost. So it was pretty, it was nerve-wracking. There were times where I wanted to just like scream, but then like listening to the final product is just going to be even cooler now.
We've done some projects before with electronic components. This set of songs that we're recording today is probably the most intensely integrated. It's such a core component to her music, to have her trigger it live, but also have orchestral chamber musicians around her. That type of merging, it's just adventurous.
I hope that I will not mess up. I'm going to be triggering electronic beats, which is not something that I've done with other musicians, especially this many before. So I hope it all goes smoothly. I've never done anything like this before.
I mean, I'm nervous about everything just because I haven't had a chance to like work with the musicians like beforehand. So it's just making sure that everything works live. It's always different.
Every time we meet, whether it's in traditional full orchestra or a very small chamber group like this, it's always a different version and variation. So there's a different mutation of Awesöme Orchestra today. And we've never played in this space before. All of these songs, this is the world premiere.
So I wrote Brave One about 6 years ago, and it was shortly after I was in a car accident, and where I sustained paralysis and had to use a wheelchair. So just going through that was an intense moment in my life where I was processing a lot of grief. At that time, I was kind of in a very dark place of mourning. I lost family members in that event, and so that just really summed up what was happening in my life. And the best way that I could express it was through this song. So it's quite somber. However, coming together with all these musicians that I've never met, almost 5-6 years later, to revisit it feels like a great kind of triumphant moment, because it started in such a dark place in my life, and I'm able to sort of mark in my life how much progress I've made since that moment. It's quite profound for me.
Be the brave one is what they say to me, but I want some sweet sympathy. Who will make the cure? No one knows. Just swallow it down and keep the flow. One of these days, they'll speak my name. One of these days, I won't be the same. Let the world fall down on me. 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 Cut me down and stand me up. Drink up this wine from a poison cup. My fire's high, my bones are cold. Two hands can't hold my restless soul. Count me out, count me out, count me out on a Saturday night. I'll be lying down, holding it tight. Let the world, let the world, let the world fall down on me. Let the world, let the world, let the world fall down on me. When I open my eyes, it don't look the same, and I say, hey. When I open my eyes, it don't look the same, and I say, hey. Let the world fall down on me. Let the world fall down on me. Let the world
one of the things that we've heard from our players that they miss the most is not just the making the music together, but just actually hanging out together and forming human connection. We want to attract the players that are going to be as excited by the music as they are by who they're playing with.
It's really good to be back and playing because, man, it just feels like a drought. Going from playing music every day of the week to not playing for almost a year and a half.
It was an Awesöme Orchestra show. So it was February, right before the lockdown, and we played at Sports Basement. And it was our Black History Month show. And then that was it. It's my last time with people.
March, like 20th of 2020, I think. Yeah, that sounds about right. We're in the middle of doing Music Man, and we just had to get everything out.
With the Peninsula Symphony that I usually play with, we did a couple of home recording projects, so recording on the iPhone and somebody stitches it together. It's very difficult for me to get motivated for those, just playing into thin air by myself. I think there were probably about several months where I just didn't practice at all.
I recorded an album recently with my organization, the Greek Chamber Music Project. So we recorded remotely.
I didn't play for a solid 9 months, and then me and my quartet started getting back together and rehearsing in the parks. So that was a really great way to meet the neighborhood.
Maybe like once a month. Play with other people, yeah, doing like outdoor stuff. I didn't do anything. I played Animal Crossing.
It was really hard for me to even take out my instrument and play because I really just love playing with other people. So opportunities like this are really wonderful. And especially now that we can all be in the same room, it's really great.
There's been a big identity loss of not being able to be a part of communal gathering to collaborate and make music together. And so I'm having a lot of feelings today.
Dave being more familiar with the composer set me up with each one. It's quite incredible the fact that I had never sat in a room with them. We were able to trade MP3 files. They would compose them using software like Sibelius, where I could hear the playback of all the instrumentation and give notes, and also read through the scores and make any changes.
We spoke over the phone. We talked about the direction we wanted the piece to go in and what kind of feel we wanted, and we had some limitations with instrumentation, so that was great to just know where to start.
I really asked them to take artistic license. Because I work primarily alone, I recognize that I often miss the element of collaboration. So having an outside ear really put their own flavor into one of my songs was really cool to hear.
Actually, this is my first time doing something like this, so it was fun for me. It was totally fresh to have electronics. I don't even know how they're recording it right now, whether it's like recording to a click or if it's just, I don't know, free, but I'm excited to see how it turns out.
The composers took a lot of my melody lines, like things that I would sing, and gave them to instruments like the flute or the violin. And so you'll hear that they will play that underneath my voice. And I don't have a very loud voice, so having that support from different instruments will be really cool to hear, really dynamic.
The day-to-day was about making sure that the arrangements came in, worked for the players, were easy enough to play, but satisfying artistically, we could do in the amount of time we had.
Yeah, it's so fun to hear this play live. I guess the one thing is, and I don't know if this is such a small detail, but when the violinists are going, yep, you could make it a little shorter and yeah. Instead of yep, but like yep.
Gotcha. Carina, tell us a little bit about this song and why you wrote it and this work.
Well, I think this is probably the most relatable song. Probably many of us have had the feeling of liking someone and having them not like you back. So Love Bold is a song I wrote shortly after a breakup. Like many of us do, we feel feelings of loss, maybe resentment or just longing. And so all those feelings I was able to put in that song, added a fun hip hop beat to to give it an element of playfulness.
I can't see clearly till you tell me that you want me. away forever, or I'll make up my mind to go and let me hear you say, and let me hear you say, love full of both, love full, love both, love full of both, love full, love both, love full of both, love full, love both, love full of both.
Okay, cool. I think we've got enough takes for that. And yeah, let's take a 5, and we'll come back and do our last tune. When I listen to a piece live or even a recording, very different experience in conducting a piece live. I'm more of like the air traffic controller, helping land the plane. I'm not actually flying the plane. That's the musicians. They're on the plane. And I'm just making sure everybody takes off and lands safely and has fun. You're hearing percussion play beat 2 and 3, and then we'll get to 4, just a little lift, kind of like the lift is on the cutoff. Helping shape the sonic image of it, but helping them shape it. Shorter here, a little less time here. This is the most important thing going on in this measure.
I arranged Hymn of Unknown Tomorrows for full symphony orchestra during the pandemic, and my dear friend Matt Montgomery reduced the orchestration to just 7 players plus vocalist for today's session.
At the time, a lot of world events, including the California forest fires and the Black Lives Matter protests, were happening, and it just, I ended up writing, just out of feeling really intense anxiety like most people, a song, which I told Dave about.
You want to pair people up that are excited about new music, that are excited about playing along with live electronics, that are excited about playing in more of a chamber setting.
I think that the fusion of the electronic medium and the classical instruments helps make it more palatable and relatable to today's audiences who may not necessarily be familiar with classical or the symphonic instrumentation, and it shows how these two things can work well together, and I think it's a beautiful thing.
The title is pretty literal. It was just no one knew what was happening tomorrow. Also, the elections were coming up, and so there was just this foreboding feeling and anxiety that a lot of us were feeling. Yeah, I would say it was just a response to just the incredible heaviness that was happening.
Sing, burn, and flee at the hands of a madman. We close ourselves to the day at the coldest hour. We've climbed higher peaks in isolation, just to ask myself how it feels to be free. And the world will never change, but nothing is the same at all. What came over signals with our eyes wide open, but in the dark. His love for all the rituals overcame him. The armor that she gives is his prison cell, and the world will never change, but nothing is the same at all. Who will cut all the liars to rescue those who stray in the light of the day? Who will be the hero to burn this wicked house from the inside out? Promise bright tomorrows, 'cause I never found them. The strength and patience I have yet to use. The voices of a chorus can overtake them when we sing the hymn of the right to choose. And the world will never change, but nothing is the same at all. We'll cut all the liars to rescue those who stray in the light of the day. Who will be the hero to burn this wicked house from the inside out? You light all the fires.
Okay, well, we gotta break down and stuff and get out of here.
Yeah, let me talk you guys through that real quick.
Yeah,
Basically,
everybody's
we've got to break down much more than just a show. So ideally, if y'all can just get instruments into cases and stuff, because we're going to start basically taking this whole area apart in about 15 minutes.
Like the studio is kind of going.
Yeah, like these shelves and the truss and everything. It's all.
Yeah, it's kind of a
Today's
miracle.
the day.
Yeah.
So
That we got in, so.
It went really well. It went better than I thought it would.
To Carina, like around the keyboard. And let's just do a quick
Oh, I think we're doing a group photo now.
Brendan, are you in this?
Sure.
Okay.
Spirit.
I'm down here. Yeah, I'm down here.
Okay, ready? On 3. 1, 2, 3. Sound and look fabulous.